Morning, everybody. My name is Bill with Pirate Solutions Forestry. Not sure exactly the order that this video is going to come out, but I threw in some hyperlac clips. Just wanted to do, I did about 3/4 of a bucket of firewood and clean up a little bit and give my neighbors a break. It's the 3rd of July. In my area, my particular village is what we're called here in North Falmouth, Massachusetts. Everybody's down. This is the big week. So I don't know if when I was over having some breakfast berries over there, you could hear the cars going by, or if I'll detach that audio, I'm not sure. But my street is like a highway. There's so many people coming down. And tomorrow night is our big night here. So what happens in my village is there are about 4 or 5 houses around the beach down here. We're not very far, walking distance to Megansett Beach. Everybody from my village goes down there on 4th of July night. Kids, dogs, you name it. Pack the beach. 4 or 5 houses have fireworks wars. The likes that I've never seen before. I can't imagine what they spend on fireworks. It's got to be, I say the same thing every year, but it's got to be over 50 grand a house. And one will set off like a 10-minute barrage and do all kinds of different stuff. And then they end with the boom, boom, boom kind of thing at the end. And then the house up the beach from them will do one to counter them. And then the house up the beach will do one to counter them. And it is absolutely insane. It's really the highlight of our summer. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. It really is the peak of our season. So if our season goes like this, down into winter for 4 or 5 months, and then kind of up through April, May, and then kind of into June, and then July 4th is the peak, and then it kind of slowly trickles down. If we end up with like a nice August and September, it hangs on a little bit, and then it just drops right off before Thanksgiving into a frozen granite rock. Tomorrow night is it. It's the peak of the season. This time of the year, I'm pretty slow. I get hit pretty hard. Kind of, if April's nice, April and May. If April's not nice, May. I get hit pretty hard with lumber orders of people trying to work on outdoor projects and things like that. And then when the kids get out of school, it slows down a little bit because families start traveling and doing vacations and everything. And then in the heat of the summer, the dog days of summer, we really slow down. So right now I'm pretty slow. Got only a couple things I need to cut. I'm waiting on access to some wood to cut them. And I started, as you guys have seen the last couple days, cutting construction material for myself so I can build a couple things. And last year I did this. This year I'm going to do another one of these, maybe a little bit different size. I haven't really decided yet. And a wood bunker that's going to hold it would hold 6 cords if I stacked it 8 feet high, but I think 8 feet high is kind of high to stack it. So I think it'll be a 5-cord wood bunker because I'll only stack it like 6 feet high. I need the construction material. I'm trying to pick out some of my older logs that I wouldn't cut for a customer really, unless they were just ended up being 1x8s or 1x6s and you could take everything out of the heart of them. But for the most part, they were cut off for a reason. Every log kind of that I have left out back in softwoods is kind of there for a reason. It just didn't make the cut to do some of the other projects I've cut. It was either not big enough around, it wasn't long enough, or it wasn't good enough. I've got a whole new load of pine that you guys have seen in the other videos that is going to go out back, but I want to cut through some of my stuff first and cut all my 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, maybe some 2x10s, 4x4s, probably some 6x6s and stuff too. And I want to stock up on those. So over the next couple of weeks, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. That and working on firewood. I want to get my firewood out of the way by the end of July. By the end of July, I want my firewood baking in the sun. And it's a mix of soft and hardwood. I burn a lot of pine. And I burn a lot of black oak and red oak. A lot of white oak. some locust. Right now I don't really have any to burn, but it's a pretty good mix of stuff. This year in particular, as you saw earlier, I think, in the hyperlapse, I'm cutting through a ton of black oak right now. And that's just because I've been cutting a lot of black oak for projects, as you guys have seen, and white oak. Most of my bucket loads right now are oak. I do split it kind of small. A lot of that pile, now not particularly what I cut today, but most of the pile behind that has been there a couple of years, so it's very, very seasoned and dry, the slab wood. I am cutting through some of the black oak slab wood that I milled last week. And that stuff, believe me, in that south facing sun, with the airflow and everything, with as small as I split it, will be bone dry by January. It probably even before that, in all honesty. If we have any decent type of temperatures here, it'll be dry before that. I will not cover it until I get closer to burning season, so it just sits out in a big pile in the sun. Even if it gets rained on, it doesn't matter right now. But when I get closer to burn season, I will cover it. And then when we have a string of sunny days, we take the cover off. And then if it's going to rain, we'll put the cover back on in case we have to get into it. But I stock a ton in the house. I've got a wood rack in the house that goes under my TV. Some of you have probably seen it over the years if you've watched me for a long time. That holds a really good amount of wood. If I fill up the inside of the house, it's at least a week's worth of wood. I fill all around the stove. I've got an upright kindling holder that I only put pine in, and real small pine, like sticker size, like 1x1s. And I fill that thing all the way to the top of it. It's about 6 feet tall, just for starting the stove. And then I have the wood rack that's under the TV that's not very far from the stove. I pack that solid, and that just gets the heat from the stove and everything. If the stuff has gotten rained on or whatever, it ends up being pretty dry fairly quickly. That's kind of what I'm working on. If I do a couple of bucket loads a day or every 2 days, I'll be definitely done with what I need for this winter by the end of July. I'm on the borderline right now of considering selling some. I haven't figured out how to package it yet, or where I'm going to put it. I think what makes the most sense is, if you guys have seen up front where my new pine delivery came in, if I could get that pine out of there and all the locust and cedar out of there out back, I could put a wood bunker in there that I could store wood. That's still kind of a pain for a guy like me because I don't have any real good way to transport it. I would be filling up the back of a pickup truck, and it would take me probably 1, 2. So if it was an 8-foot bed, it'd take you two heaped loads to do a cord. With a 5.5-foot bed, it would take me at least 3 loads. I would consider doing some IBC totes. The problem with that is I got to tote the machine around to move them. I don't have any other way of doing it. I don't have like a mini skid or anything like that. So it becomes a little bit of a problem with delivery. Not saying that I couldn't go out and get a truck to do it, or a dump trailer or something like that. I certainly could. That's just an investment that I'm not sure I want to make yet. So I'm getting pretty close. If I fill up my wood bunker right now, and if I ended up with any appreciable pile, say like a couple of years worth of wood up top out in the shade in there, I probably would make an investment to start selling a little bit of firewood. I don't know. We'll have to see. You guys let me know what you think. If I had a helper, it would be one thing. I could just set a helper on firewood all day while I was milling. And that might be a possibility too. We're going to have to see. Other than that, Kate's out with Danny doing some errands. I don't know how she's going to deal with him in that hot car, but I'm sure she's got a plan. And I'm waiting for her to come back. I know she's got a pretty full day down at the Veterans Center. They're interviewing a new director and some stuff like that this afternoon. So I'm just kind of dinking around this morning. The earlier video where I was cutting, I ran out of gas in the saw. Gonna fill that up. And also I'm trying to give my neighbors a break. I've got some neighbors on this side over here that butt right up to my property, right near where my firewood pile is. they're doctors from up around Boston, and they've got kids and stuff like that, and they only come down on holidays and weekends. And I really try to give them a break. My neighbors on the other side, we own the lot next door. It's all grown in and green, so they kind of get a pretty good sound buffer. And my neighbors behind me back there are great friends, and they're up a hill and through a bunch of green and probably 200 foot of woods. So they get a pretty good sound buffer from down here, but these neighbors over here don't. And I went out and gave a good look this morning to see if any of them were like out having coffee in the, they put in a huge pool area. And I went out to see if any of them were sitting out having coffee or something like that, or reading, you know, like a tablet or something. That I wouldn't have done it if they were, but there was nobody outside. So I decided, you know, those 2 whole hyperlapses took me like 15 minutes to cut it and split almost a full bucket. Took about 15 minutes. I get in and out pretty quick. The ironic thing would be if they ever complained about the noise. It'd be the most ironic thing in the history of the world. When they put in that pool area, they had a tree crew come in. They started on a Saturday and they worked Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I think they packed out on Tuesday. They took down several hundred trees, cleared their entire lot, and then they put in a pool, a big pool area with all masonry work. And for 2 years before they moved in, they bought the house and then they had all this work done before they ever moved in. While they were doing that pool area, there were concrete saws running in their yard every day for 2 years. Summer, winter, weekends, you name it. I used to have my little seating area up top by the house. And I would come out in the afternoon when I got home from work and sit out there. And every day it was just concrete saws running for 2 years solid. So it would be like the ultimate irony if they complained about the noise. We all have to deal with it. Right next door to me is an engineering firm on this side, butting up against my lot. They had a landscaping crew out there for the last 3 days, just running blowers nonstop. It was just all day long. And I was just shaking my head going, God, I don't even know why I even worry about the noise. It's one thing about our area, there's like a leaf blower going or a chipper going somewhere all the time. It's either or a leaf blower all the time, every day. I want to give them a break. I know they're down for 4th of July and they're trying to get a break from the hustle and bustle of their jobs and, you know, living up around the city and stuff like that. I don't know what their house is like up there, but I know that the man is a pretty renowned cardiologist. I looked him up one time. He came over and asked me for something, and I looked him up. And he's a pretty well-written, world-renowned cardiologist. So I'm sure they do very, very well for themselves, and that their home up around the city, wherever it is really nice. But I want them to be able to get a break from the noise. I got to do a little bit of weed whacking around the fire pit. Kate's bringing me home some bratwurst. She asked me what I wanted for kind of 4th of July food, and I said hamburgers and hot dogs or bratwurst. And she won't do the hot dogs, so I said, forget the hot dogs, just get me bratwurst. So she's bringing me home bratwurst. We'll probably end up doing them on the grill, but we might even go caveman and cook them around the outdoor fire. It's been nice and cool at night. It's pretty hot today. Maybe 78, 79, maybe 80 degrees. I don't think it's 80. I'm not really sweating right now, so I don't think it's 80 degrees, but right around 80. At night, it's been gorgeous. Low to mid 60s. It's been absolutely beautiful. So we could have a fire later on. We'll see what happens. If I do, I'll film some of it. Let you guys kind of see what's going on. But other than that, it's going to be cut construction material and keep working through firewood. When I get enough construction material, we will put something together. I've already kind of got an idea what I want to do for the wood bunker. And as far as the shed goes, I think this one right here is 8 by 10 and tall with an 8 pitch on it. I think I want to go bigger and put it out back somewhere. So I've got a couple of ideas of where I can put it. I kind of want it facing the yard and just want to keep it for kind of a camp out spot if people who come from out of town to hang out with us. I think it'd be really cool to have an outdoor place where, you know, they could have a bed and chill out and this, that, and the other thing. And I could use it for whatever when nobody's here. So we're going to get to that as well. I do need more storage, no doubt about it. But yeah, that's kind of what's up. You guys let me know what you're doing for 4th of July. Leave me a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. I did just have a buddy to jump off on a tangent here, kind of going off like a monkey in a tree. This kid, Jacob buys wood from me, and he's a very creative younger kid. He's doing over his kind of like the barn at his parents' house and making it into a music studio and a place for him to live and the whole 9 yards. And he comes and buys wood and all kind of funky stuff. And he was just showing me some pictures. You stopped by, saw me outside when I was dumping the wood that you guys are going to see on video. And he's all on Instagram and everything. So when I get his Instagram info, I'll link it to a video so you guys can check him out. He does some pretty neat stuff. He's a very earthy guy. You know, he just picks up a piece of what, you know, junk wood and says, oh, I got a perfect spot for this. And he makes some pretty neat stuff. I just actually got a white oak slab from me. But he is going to hook me up with Instagram. He said, you know, he asked me about it. He said, have you seen any of my projects on Instagram? I said, well, I'm not on Instagram. He's like, what? You're doing YouTube without Instagram? So he said he said, I can set the whole thing up for you in minutes. So he's actually going to come and we'll sit down and we're going to set up and link Instagram and Facebook and YouTube all together. So I'm going to have another place to post some stuff, or it all links together. I don't know how it works, but it all links together. And then I can tell people, you know, like, hey, check out my Insta. It's who would ever guessed? Who would ever guess when I was out chainsaw milling stuff in the 100-degree heat and almost dying that I'd ever be on Instagram. Here we are in the world that we live in. That's just a little quick update. Hit me up with comments, suggestions, questions, whatever. And I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. I really do. I hope you're all safe. I hope your families are safe. I hope you have a great time. If you don't have a great time, I apologize. I'm always, you know, if you go through on Facebook and you look me up on Facebook at William Prophet, you know, send me a friend request and I'll probably accept it. You know, if you're having a tough time, shoot me a message, spend some time, hopefully try to make your day a little bit better. But that's pretty much it. So hope you guys have a great 4th. And for now, Fire Solutions out.